By the time external sources of finance become fully integrated into daily life, they often stop feeling external at all. They become part of the internal logic people use to make decisions. The question is no longer whether to borrow, but how borrowing fits into the rhythm of everything else. Bills, plans, obligations, and hopes all begin to coexist inside the same mental space. For many Americans, this creates a quiet normalization of financial tension, not distress, not crisis, just constant engagement. Money is always being managed, adjusted, shifted. Even in moments of calm, there's an awareness that something is pending, a balance, a payment, a future obligation waiting its turn. This doesn't necessarily feel negative. It feels familiar. And familiarity is powerful. External finance also shapes emotional resilience. People become skilled at absorbing pressure in small doses. A charge error, payment there. The system trains people to tolerate ongoing strain without breaking. In some ways, this builds adaptability. In other wells, it limits imagination. When life is organized around managing commitments, it becomes harder to envision a version of life without them. There's also a subtle transfer of responsibility. When financial systems handle the timing, the reminders, and the structure, individuals are relieved of constant This reduces stress, but it also distances people from the full picture. The relationship with money becomes fragmented. People know what they owe this month, but not always how it all connects. The system feels larger than any single choice. Culturally, this reinforces the idea that external finance is simply how modern life works. It's not framed as dependency. It's framed as participation, as access, as inclusion. To opt out can feel risky, even unrealistic. When everyone around you is navigating life this way, alternatives feel abstract and fragile. Yet, beneath all of this is a deeply human motive. People want continuity. They want to protect their routines, their families, and their sense of forward motion. External sources of finance offer a way to smooth over disruption in a world full of it. They don't remove uncertainty, they reorganize it. Understanding this doesn't require judgment, it requires perspective. These systems exist because they align closely with human psychology. They respond to stress, hope, fear, and the desire to keep going. They are neither inherently good nor bad. They are tools shaped by the realities of modern American life. As this documentary continues, the focus isn't on telling people what to do. It's on seeing clearly, seeing how external finance quietly influences choices, emotions, and expectations, seeing how it becomes part of the background of everyday life. Because once something becomes invisible, it becomes powerful. And power, when unnoticed, is what shapes behavior the most. Have you ever felt like you're constantly running out of time? Like there's a clock ticking in your head, pushing you to do more, earn more, be more? What if I told you that this feeling, this time, poverty, might be directly linked to how you think about money? A fascinating study from the University of British Columbia looked into this exact connection. Researchers found that when people are constantly thinking about their finances in terms of billable hours or hourly wages, it fundamentally changes how they perceive time. Suddenly, time isn't just a flowing river. It's a resource to be bought, sold, and maximized. Every spare moment not spent earning money can start to feel like a loss. This mindset can make it incredibly difficult to enjoy simple, unpaid pleasures. Think about it. Scrolling through your phone, listening to music, or just taking a walk. When you put a price tag on your time, these activities can trigger a sense of impatience and even guilt. You might find yourself thinking, I could be working right now, or this isn't productive. The study showed that people who linked their time to money reported lower levels of happiness during their leisure activities. It's like their brain couldn't switch off the economic calculator, preventing them from being truly present and enjoying the moment. They were experiencing what researchers call time famine, a persistent feeling of having too much to do and not enough time to do it. So, what can we do about this? The key is to consciously separate our time from its monetary value, especially during our personal hours. It's about reclaiming our leisure. Try setting aside specific unplugged times where you don't think about work or money. Engage in activities that you love just for the sake of doing them, not for any productive outcome. This could be reading a book, spending quality time with family, or picking up a hobby that has no financial goal attached. The goal is to remind yourself that your worth is UNT to your hourly rate, and that some of life's most valuable moments are, in fact, priceless. By being mindful of this mental trap, we can break the cycle of time poverty and find more joy and fulfillment in our daily lives. It's about shifting our perspective from time is money to time is life. What are your thoughts on this? Do you ever feel this pressure? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time. External sources of finance also change how people think about risk, even when they don't realize it. When outside money is available, the emotional cost of a mistake feels smaller. Decisions that might have felt dangerous suddenly feel manageable. If something goes wrong, there's a sense that another option will appear. Another card, another plan, another extension. This belief doesn't come from recklessness. It comes from repeated exposure to systems designed to absorb short-term shocks. In everyday American life, uncertainty has become normal. Jobs shift. Hours change. Benefits disappear. Emergencies don't wait for savings to catch up. External finance steps into this uncertainty and becomes part of how people manage fear. It creates the impression of a safety net, even when that net is borrowed and fragile. Knowing that money can be accessed quickly reduces anxiety in the moment, but it can also quietly increase tolerance for financial strain. There's a psychological phenomenon at work here. When consequences are spread out over time, they lose emotional intensity. A payment next month doesn't feel as real as a bill due today. External finance stretches consequences thin, turning one large discomfort into many smaller ones. Each payment feels survivable. The total feels distant. This allows people to carry more financial weight than they otherwise would, often without noticing the accumulation. Social comparison adds another layer. In a country where lifestyle signals success, external finance helps people maintain appearances. Cars, homes, vacations, and experiences all communicate stability. Borrowing supports that image when income alone cannot. Over time, people begin to measure their financial health by what they can sustain, not by what they own outright. As long as payments are made, everything feels under control. This is where systems and psychology intersect most clearly. Financial products are structured around minimums, monthly amounts, and renewals. They focus attention on short horizons. Humans naturally respond to what's right in front of them. A manageable payment today feels like success, even if it creates pressure tomorrow. The system doesn't need to mislead, it only needs to align with how people already think under stress. External finance also affects how people interpret responsibility. When borrowing is normalized, carrying debt no longer feels like failure. It feels like participation, like adulthood, like doing what everyone else is doing. This reduces shame, which can be healthy, but it can also reduce caution. If everyone is using outside money, it feels safer to rely on it too. None of this happens overnight. These patterns form slowly, through repetition. A financed repair here, a delayed bill there. Over years, external sources of finance become woven into daily decisions. They influence how much risk feels acceptable, how much uncertainty feels tolerable, and how much pressure people believe they can handle. This isn't a story of poor choices. It's a story of adaptation. People adapt to the systems around them. External finance exists because life is uneven and expectations are high. Understanding its role means understanding how Americans navigate risk, identity, and stability in a financial environment that rarely offers certainty without a cost. Have you ever noticed that not all debt feels the same? Even when the numbers are identical, the emotional weight can be completely different. $100 on a mortgage feels worlds apart from $100 on a credit card. Why is that? It's because some forms of outside money feel heavy and serious, while others feel light, casual, almost disposable. And that difference changes how we act more than we realize. In many households, long-term loans like a mortgage or student loan are mentally filed away as a life chapter, not a daily choice. They become part of the background noise of adulthood. Because we normalize them, they rarely cause daily stress, even when the balance is huge. But short-term finance is a whole different story. Credit cards by now, pay, later plans, and small personal loans are right there with us. In our daily lives, they pay for groceries, gas, clothes, and those little comforts that get us through the week. Because they're so close, they interact directly with our emotions. When money is tight, our brain craves relief. External finance offers that relief without confrontation. There's no immediate need to say no to your kid or to skip a friend's birthday dinner. It's a quiet way to protect our self-image, to feel like we're keeping up, even if it's just for a little while. This is especially powerful when it comes to family and social expectations. We don't want to feel like we're falling behind or being irresponsible, and the financial systems are designed to reinforce this. Approval screens are fast, the language is friendly, and payments are broken down into small, manageable chunks. The system never asks, "Hey, how do you think future you will feel about paying this back?" We just naturally assume our future self will be more capable, calmer, and better prepared to handle it. That's not being irrational. It's a form of emotional External finance also helps smooth out the bumps of an unstable income. For many people, money doesn't arrive in a neat, predictable monthly check. Income can be uneven, but the bills always arrive on time. Borrowing becomes a tool to bridge those gaps, a way to adjust the timing. Over time, it stops feeling like borrowing and starts feeling like just managing cash flow. That mental shift makes it easier to rely on. There's another layer here. External finance removes the emotional friction of spending. When you hand over physical cash, you feel it. It's tangible, but a quick swipe or a tap feels completely neutral. The consequence is delayed and abstract. This separation allows our spending to be guided more by immediate emotion like stress or fatigue rather than by careful reflection. None of this means people are careless. It just means we're human. Financial systems are built around our predictable human tendencies. They anticipate our stress, our urgency, and our hope. They don't force our behavior. They just gently shape it. So, the next time you think about debt, look past the interest rates and balances. Look at how it shows up in the grocery aisle, at the car repair shop, or in that late-night online checkout. It's in the choices we make to keep life moving forward, to choose stability over disruption, and to prioritize now over later. These patterns aren't born from ignorance. They come from a deep, human desire to maintain momentum, even when the ground beneath our feet feels a little shaky. Thanks for watching. If this gave you a new perspective, consider subscribing for more insights into the psychology of our daily lives. Have you ever noticed how some people, even when they're really struggling financially, will avoid borrowing money from friends or family at all costs? But then, they might icily take out a loan from a bank or use a credit card. It seems a bit strange, right? Why borrow from an institution that charges interest instead of from loved ones who might not? Well, the answer goes way beyond just the numbers on a balance sheet. It's all about psychology. When we borrow money, we're not just looking for cash. We're looking for a sense of stability, control, and, most importantly, dignity. Think about it. Asking a friend for help can feel like admitting failure. It shifts the dynamic of the relationship. Suddenly, you're not just friends. You're a debtor and a creditor. This can bring on feelings of shame, guilt, and the constant pressure of being indebted to someone you care about. Every interaction can feel strained, shadowed by the unspoken weight of the loan. It threatens our deep-seated need to be seen as competent and self-sufficient. Now, contrast that with borrowing from a bank. It's impersonal. It's transactional. The bank isn't your friend. It's a business. There's a clear contract, set repayment terms, and no emotional baggage. You're a customer, not a charity case. This formal process allows us to maintain our dignity. We're not asking for a favor. We're engaging in a professional transaction. It feels more like an achievement, a step towards solving our own problems, rather than a moment of vulnerability. The bank provides the funds, but it also provides a structured path that helps us feel in control of our situation, preserving our self-respect along the way. So, the next time you see someone choosing a formal loan over help from a friend, remember, it's not always about pride in a negative way. It's often about protecting their emotional well-being and their most valued relationships. The need for dignity can be just as powerful, if not more so than the need for money itself. It's a fascinating look at how our emotions shape our financial decisions. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights.